Yo, it's Marc Shannon with the Fantasy Knockout Fantasy Football Show. Today is Friday, June 16th. You can follow the show on social media at Fantasy Knockout. Make sure to subscribe whatever platform you're watching or listening on. And let's get that goal for this year of 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Some things going on right now. Sign up to become that Knockout member. You'll get access to overall and flex rankings, draft cheat sheets, trade chart during the season, and priority questions and answers. Are you also interested in joining the Knockout Listener League? Sign up on the website, fantasyknockout.com, or a link below. And let's catch up on the latest NFL news.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Here is the news.
News with views. All right, so we got some good big news to start off. Running back Dalvin Cook from the Minnesota Vikings, he has been released. They cut him. The Dolphins are the leading suitor, quote, for Cook, who is currently in training in South Florida right now, and he's open to a fresh start. So we'll see if Miami's the destination there. Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell described Alexander Mattison as an every down back. That's going to be he was the backup to Cook in Minnesota. He's now going to be the main guy there in Minnesota. So but his draft stock is going to rise right now over the next couple months. He was a screaming value before this news, but Madison's now the main guy there in Minnesota. Wide receiver Stephon Diggs from Buffalo. He's back at practice. Diggs was at minicamp on Monday and Tuesday. Then he left. And then his head coach, Sean McDermott, said that he's, quote, very concerned about Diggs' absence from the team's mandatory minicamp. I think this all got blown out of proportion. There obviously is probably something there that Diggs is frustrated with. We don't know what. We're probably not going to find out. But I'm sure it's all going to work out. Everything will be fine come the beginning of the season. So we're not going to worry about it. Running back Saquon Barkley from the Giants, when asked whether or not he would consider sitting out the 2023 season, Barkley said, quote, "That's a card I could play." So Barkley, he's still in search of a new contract. I think this is his attempt to kind of play hardball with the Giants. They have until July 17th to work out a deal. We'll just keep monitoring it. Obviously, I think this is going to be more blown out of proportion now than come July 17th. I'm sure they'll figure everything out, and it's not going to be an issue at all. Wide receiver Michael Pittman from Indianapolis. He's managing a hip issue. He didn't practice last Friday due to the hip injury. His head coach, Shane Steichen, indicated that it's not serious, and he'd be ready for the start of training camp. So good news there. Quarterback Justin Herbert from the Chargers. He plans to participate in the 7-on-7 drills during OTAs. So this is good news for Justin since he was pretty banged up last year. Wide receiver CeeDee Lamb from Dallas. The vice president, Stephen Jones, said that the team has touched base with Lamb's agent on contract extensions. So this is good for CD. Looks like he's going to get paid soon enough. Wide receiver Treylon Burks out of Tennessee. He's been Tannehill's, quote, favorite target in OTAs, so that's good. Hopefully now we can stay healthy and be productive all year long. Wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins, who's a free agent. He visited with the Tennessee Titans, left there with no deal. He then visited the New England Patriots. No deal has been done, but the Patriots also released running back James Robinson like the next day or later that day that Hopkins was there. So the Patriots say the injuries were the issue for Robinson. He tore his Achilles at the end of the 2021 season, and he really has not been back to full health yet. So I know that's a really tough injury to come back on. It usually takes a good 2 years to be normal for football players. So we'll see if Robinson gets picked up anywhere else. But Hopkins, the Patriots seem like the lead suitor there for Hopkins. We'll see if they can work out a deal. Running back Josh Jacobs from the Raiders. His head coach, Josh McDaniels, said that Jacobs is not under contract and that he still has not signed the team's franchise tag and will not participate in mandatory OTAs. Wide receiver Rashad Bateman out of Baltimore. He will be held out of June minicamp after getting a cortisone shot in his foot. But his head coach, John Harbaugh, expects Bateman to be ready for training camp, so that's good news there. And then wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster out of New England. He's dealing with undisclosed injury right now. It's not expected to be at practice in minicamp. He should be ready to go start of training camp. Let's cover some injuries still or players coming off of injuries and some news relating to that. So tight end Kyle Pitts out of Atlanta, he's trending in the right direction with his knee. He's going to be ready for training camp. Wide receiver Chase Claypool is now in Chicago. He remains sidelined with an undisclosed injury. According to his head coach, Matt Eberflus, Claypool sustained a soft tissue issue injury during OTAs. He should be ready for training camp, so good news there. Wide receiver Cooper Kupp from the Rams, he's mixing into practices with his ankle injury from last year. He has been present at OTAs and is starting individual drills. He will be ready for training camp, so good news there. Wide receiver Sterling Shepard from the Giants, he continues to progress. He had the ACL injury. He is, quote, right on schedule physically, should be ready for the beginning of the season. Tight end Zach Ertz out of Arizona, no return timeline yet. He's had the knee issue, so his head coach Jonathan Gannon declined to elaborate on when Ertz might return. So Trey McBride, I believe, is the backup there or the next man in line. So again, no Kyler Murray probably there in Arizona, so we're not going to be really drafting these tight ends. Running back Kendre Miller out of New Orleans, he's the rookie. He's not participating in minicamp. He had a knee issue. He sprained his right MCL during the college playoffs last year. They do expect him to be fully healthy by training camp, so good news there. Running back Jonathan Taylor out of Indianapolis. He targets a training camp return. He's been dealing with that ankle injury from last year. It was very lingering. High ankle sprain hampered him last year, like I said, and is hoping to be ready for training camp. Hoping is the highlighted word there. But I assume Taylor will be ready to go. And then, obviously, since there's not too much going on, training camp hasn't started yet. OTAs and mini camps are going on now. The hype train is going to start, and in the next 2 months, it's going to get out of control. So I'm going to read you some fun hype train stuff that take it how you want, because you can overanalyze this or you can just, go on with your day. Wide receiver Paris Campbell from the New York Giants. He received some reps at running back during minicamp. So with that recent news with Saquon Barkley possibly holding out, this is going to explode on Twitter with a possible Deebo Samuel comp, okay? So do what you want with that. Tight end Sam Laporta out of Detroit. Reports say Sam has been the favorite target of the Lions quarterback. Okay. Running back Zach Charbonnet from Seattle. Don't be surprised at the playing time and opportunities Charbonnet gets this season. All right, what are we going to do with that? Running back Khalil Herbert out of Chicago. He received first-team reps at the Bears OTAs. All right, but guess what? Foreman, he's not participating in OTAs. So you see how they're spinning things. You got to read the fine print on some of this stuff, or tune into the show, because that's why we go over this and I tell you what's relevant and not. Quarterback Tua Tagovailoa out of Miami. He's bulked up for year 4, so Tua's added noticeable size and strength during Miami's offseason training program. So are we all in on Tua now? We'll see. I like him better than last year. And then last is running back Antonio Gibson from Washington. His head coach Ron Rivera said Gibson could be a, quote, matchup nightmare for the opponent in the team's new offense. This is the same coach that also comped Gibson to Christian McCaffrey a few years back when Rivera was the head coach of the Panthers and McCaffrey was there. When I'm saying to beware of the hype, I do like Gibson's value and his price in drafts right now. But if it skyrockets and it goes way beyond what I think he's like in the 7th, 8th round right now, if it goes up into the 4th and 5th, that's outrageous. He's not worth that price. So where the value's at now makes sense. Where it could get out of control, we'll probably be off, but hopefully it stays right where it's at. That's going to wrap it up for today. The next show, I think, is going to be draft strategies, where I'm going to explain different strategies for this year and what we could do, and we'll do some mock drafts later on. I want to say thank you for listening to the show. Make sure to subscribe whatever platform you're on. Please leave that rating and review. Really helps me out. All right, till next time. See ya.